Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the Q4 FY21 UFO Movies earnings call organized by Batliwala and Karani Securities India Private Limited. At this moment, all participants are in a listen-only mode. Later, we will conduct a question and answer session. At that time, if you have a question, please press star and 1. Please note that this conference is recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to Mr. Yogesh Kirve. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Yashasri. Good afternoon to all the participants, and thank you for joining in. We at Batliwala and Karani Securities are pleased to host this earnings call for UFO Movies India Limited. To discuss the results and the business outlook, we have the senior management of the company represented by Mr. Kapil Agarwal, Joint Managing Director, and Mr. Ashish Malushte, Chief Financial Officer. I will now hand over call to Mr. Agarwal for his opening remarks, which would be followed by a question and answer session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Yogesh. Greetings, everyone, and thank you all for joining us on your first Q4 and FY21 earnings call. Glad to connect with all of you after lapse of almost more than a year, actually. I do hope and believe that all of you and your loved ones and colleagues are safe amid this COVID-19 pandemic. Friends, the year gone by has been extraordinarily challenging for all of us and our business in many ways. As we know, with the declaration of shutdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, cinema business has been severely affected, thereby impacting company's performance also. During FY21, the company earned negligible revenues as the business operations were halted since the beginning of the year due to the closure of cinemas. After a prolonged closure, cinemas were allowed to reopen from mid-October 2020 with SOPs and 50% seating capacity. That was also staggered, in different states. Due to the constrained seating capacity and weak content pipeline, because the tentpole movies didn't want to release when the cinemas were not open, many cinemas chose also not to reopen. However, once the restrictions on the seating capacity were lifted, southern markets witnessed huge number of releases, including big budget films like Master and Lisa. Excellent response on box office for these movies demonstrated the willingness of the audiences to quickly return to the theaters and enjoy the cinematic experience with their families and friends. While the southern markets were almost back to normal, other markets took more time to start releasing, the big budget movies. However, encouraged by the box office response in southern markets, content owners in Bollywood and other markets also started announcing release dates for their movies by the end of February, early March 2021, after the wait and watch. This included tentpole movies like Suryavanshi, 83, Radhe, etc. However, just when it looked like that the release of these movies would give the industry a much needed push, the country witnessed the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, thereby once again leading to the closure of cinemas. We have all experienced it. Well, friends, the second wave has turned out to be more lethal and has spread across the country in a very, very short span of time. It has severely impacted not only cinemas but other consumer discretionary businesses as well due to the restrictions and lockdowns imposed by various state governments. From a business perspective, due to this massive wave, the journey continues to be difficult and challenging. However, we feel that these challenging times won't last, as we clearly see signs of peaking of second wave and its flattening curve. I am very proud to say that even though the operations were severely impacted, we have taken good care of our employees with a prompt transition to work from home culture and have provided all the necessary setup to them for smooth functioning. Wellness and well-being, along with the effective communication, collaboration, has been the core of all our actions during these times. Our UFO family has stood together and continues to work harder towards a better tomorrow. Having said that, from a business sustainability perspective, the company had to adopt various cost optimization measures right from the beginning of the pandemic, including reduction in fixed costs and salaries. I would like to take you through some interesting developments on business front. As the lockdown was implemented and we slowly adapted to the new working environment, we decided to explore new business streams by leveraging our existing resources and infrastructure. The first one is the film distribution business, which is a natural backward integration for UFO. The endeavor is guided by a threefold objective. First, launching fee-based film distribution business with no content risk. Second, building a robust professional architecture which can effectively handle the film distribution throughout India. Third, charging the virtual print fee as a percentage of box office revenue instead of upfront fixed charge to facilitate wider release of movies. During the short period of 3 months since the launching of the distribution business and before the cinemas shut down again due to second wave, we distributed 12 movies, which is almost 1 movie per week. Some of the movies distributed on an all India basis were Geos, Ram Prasad Ki Tervi, Shakila, which was starring Richa Chadda and Pankaj Tripathi, Ram Gopal Verma's 12 O'Clock, English movie The Marksman, thriller called Flight, etc. The other movies distributed by us in select circuits, including movies across languages, including mega Tamil hit Master, Nandi, Chakra, Check, Mosagullu, etc. This initiative has been accepted across value chain and has also helped theatres reopen post-pandemic with an ensured lineup of content because they were struggling for content at that point of time. Agreements for more and bigger movies were underway before the cinemas were shut down due to the. However, given the response from content owners and our acceptability as an all India corporate distributor, we are confident that we are here to stay in this business and this vertical will start generating steady revenues going forward for the company. Friends, now moving slightly away, I'll take few minutes on other new initiatives because this pandemic made us realize that we were dependent on a single business, that is cinema, which no one ever thought could face such a prolonged closure, bringing revenues to near zero. Therefore, we worked towards ring fencing the company through diversification into non-cinema related businesses and set our eyes on the social media and digital. Social media is the fastest growing advertising medium and globally around 6 to 8% of the total spend on digital advertising is by way of influencer marketing. As per industry sources, in India, annual spend on digital advertising is around 20,000 crores, of which merely 400 crores is spent on the influencer marketing. As per global benchmarks, annual spend on influencer marketing in India should be anywhere between 12 to 1600 crores, while actually right now it is only 400 crores. And with more and more advertisers allocating budget for digital advertising, influencer marketing has substantial growth potential in years to come. So we signed an agreement with Collective Artists Network Private Limited to provide social media marketing services. Collective is India's leading talent management agency, having exclusive agreement with around 270 celebrities from various walks of life, such as Bollywood, Collywood, sports, etc. Some of these celebrities are Deepika Padukone, Shraddha Kapoor, Kriti Sanon, Ranbir Kapoor, Tiger Shroff, Kartik Aaryan, Rana Duggupati, cricketer R. Ashwin, etc. And all these are exclusive agreements with them. In addition, it also has over 5,000 social media influencers on its network. Collective, this company Collective, with which we have signed the agreement, it's called Collective. Collective monetizes the social media assets of celebrities and social media influencers on its network through its division called Big Bang Social. I hope I'm not confusing too much, but Collective, we have agreement with Collective and its division is Big Bang Social. At the same time, we have an experienced pan-India team of sales and marketing professionals to monetize our exclusive in-cinema advertising rights. With the help of Collected, we utilize this pandemic period to reskill our sales and marketing team to expand UFO's reach in this space, in addition to our core business of in-cinema advertising. As you all know, social media opportunity is a 24/7 business and will only grow with penetration of digital in our lives, and digital medium becoming critical for the success of brands. So this is one agreement that we have signed, and we are now in the process of stabilizing it. Next, we have also ventured into B2C digital space by launching two initiatives during this period, which are Ziglin, which is a short video content app, and Plexigo, which is a premium content discovery OTT platform. Currently, these businesses have been soft launched and are at a nascent stage. However, as we know, such businesses have huge value creation potential in the long term. So we will continue to provide updates on these businesses in due course to all of you. Coming back to the core business, the exhibition business industry has laid its hopes on the success of vaccination drive across India, which can help in relaxation of social distancing norms and may act as sanjeevani to the industry. This business stems from the fact that some of the developed countries like US, UK, Israel, who have successfully vaccinated large part of their population, have been able to gradually restore normalcy. In US, like for example, US recently announced that the individuals who have been fully vaccinated are no more required to even wear the mask or maintain the social distancing. So, at the same time, good news of people returning to cinemas and growing box office collections has been coming from across the world, wherever the lockdown has been lifted. Like for example, US, UK, France, China, Middle East. Last week, I was just reading yesterday, the latest release of Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, has collected $10 million at the UK box office just in 3 days of the first weekend. These are the best weekend collections since March 2020 and almost at par with the pre-pandemic scenario. UK's exhibition industry is celebrating this promising return to normalcy, wherein in addition to recovery in footfalls, significant increase in F&B sales was also witnessed. There are also reports of promising pre-sales for the other upcoming movies like Cruella, Demon Slayer, and Conjuring. The experience in these markets and even back home in the South Indian market, wherever the restrictions were lifted and tentpole movies released, proves beyond doubt that people are willing to come back to cinema, and it is just a matter of time. And all predictions of death of cinema business due to OTT and other platforms have been proven wrong. We do hope that with the success of vaccination drive, India too shall bounce back, and theaters will be able to quickly resume operations and start attracting good footfalls. We expect gradual revival in theatrical business, though advertisement revenues may take some more time to recover as media spend will return once cinema occupancy normalizes, along with the steady flow of new releases. But that should also come back eventually. I will now quickly take you through the headline numbers for the quarter and the year ended March 31, 2021. Please note that the financial numbers are not comparable to the previous year due to the pandemic-driven lockdown. In Q4 FY21, as operations had only resumed partially, financial performance continued to remain severely impacted. Advertisement revenues for Q4 were 19 million rupees as compared to 302 million a year ago. Advertisers, as I said earlier, remained cautious due to the factors like limited content availability, absence of big budget movies, and restricted seating capacity. Consolidated revenue stood at 327 million rupees, lower by 70% YOY. EBITDA was negative at 159 million rupees, and loss of PAT level was 255 million rupees. For the financial year, the consolidated revenue stood at 907 million. EBITDA stood at negative 837 million rupees, and PAT was negative 1,176 million rupees. On cost front, for Q1, total direct operational costs were 186 million, lower by 55.7%, primarily due to lower advertisement share and lower sales and of digital cinema equipment, lamps, spares, etc. Employee benefits expenses were 156 million, lower by 33 million, which is 17.3% as compared to previous year, and other expenses were lower by 65 million rupees, which is 30.9%. Total expenses for Q4 stood at 487 million, lower by 40.6%. For the year ended March 31, total direct operational costs were rupees 764 million, lower by 1,299 million, that is 63%. Employee benefit expenses at rupees 518 million were lower by 338 million, that is 39.4% as compared to the previous year. And other expenses were lower by 465 million, that is 50.2%. Total expenses for the entire year stood at 1,744 million rupees, which is lower by 54.7%. Lastly, before I come to the last point, as far as the funds position is concerned, on a consolidated, we had a balance of rupees 795 million, almost 80 crores, at the year end on 31st March 2021, while the net debt stood at merely 146 million, 14.5 crores. To buffer up the liquidity position and to meet any unforeseen cash flow during these testing times, the company has also secured an additional long-term working capital term loan of up to 220 million rupees, 220 million under the government's emergency credit line guarantee scheme, and this loan is in the process of being disbursed currently as we speak. Lastly, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all our investors and shareholders for their continued trust in the company during these unforeseen times. We are optimistic that once the situation improves and revenue generation starts, and with all the new initiatives, UFO will strongly bounce back. With that, it's been a little bit longer than usual, but I had to give the update because we are meeting after more than a year. So with that, I open the floors for questions. Thank you.
Certainly, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star and 1 on your phone and await your turn to ask the question when guided by me. If your question has been answered before your turn and you wish to withdraw your request, you may do so by pressing star and 1 again. We have a question from Mr. Vaibhav Bajatia from HNI Investment. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thanks for providing the opportunity. So whenever we see all this COVID situation improving and coming back to normal, do we see that the number of active screens that we had earlier versus at the time when everything comes back to normal will be substantially different? Because I'm sure a lot of the small screens and a lot of single screen theaters might have financial issues post that. So just wanted your thoughts on that. What do you expect on that front as to number of screens that we will be able to cater to post the things normalize?
Okay, sure. Thanks, Vaibhav. In the pre-pandemic scenario, we had around 9,500 screens in the country.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any official data of closure, but we are certainly expecting that few screens will certainly close down. Mm-hmm. Right now, we don't have much, information officially, but we are seeing that some individual screens are facing problems. So, it's very, very difficult to put that number in the absence of any official data, but certainly maybe I think when we come back full swing, our internal estimate is, although I will not put my last buck on that number, will be at least 400-500 screens lower. That's our anticipation, going by our experience and what we are seeing happening in the market. But it's a purely internal estimate.
Okay, got it. And so if I just wanted to understand on the government revenue part, whenever that comes back, is it linked somehow to the number of screens or this kind of blanket rate that we receive from the government, or is it based on per screen?
So the way the government rate works is, it is basically, the rate is per show per screen. This is how the rate is given to us for 10 seconds advertising. So obviously the number of screens, if there are more number of screens, the advertisement goes to more screens, more shows run. So we make more revenue. So definitely by the screen shutting down, the overall revenue, there will be impact on the revenue as well, corresponding impact on the revenue as well.
Right. And secondly, on once, so there will be flood of new movies that will be released whenever things get normalized, because there will be backlog of too many movies which were previously in making and now might be closer to completion. So do you think that the number of shows are anyway limited, right? Given we just have 24 hours in a day, the number of shows are definitely limited. But if the number of movies are more in the same number of shows, do you think there will be some impact on our revenue because of that, either positive or negative?
Yes, there will be positive impact, because this is how our business model works. Because we charge certain, VPF, virtual print fee in week 1. In the second week, the revenue is lower. The per show revenue that we charge is lower. And third week onwards, primarily, we don't charge any fees. So more new movies competing to release, means more virtual print fee revenue for us. And the advertisers also like to advertise more on new movies than on the old movies. And so therefore, the more movies means a positive impact on our revenues, both advertising whenever it comes back, as well as this thing. And just to give you some data point, by March, there was a slate of 300 movies, which was all new movies all over the country, which was already declared. So we were sitting on a slate of 300 movies. Business was really bouncing back from April. Although South, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, South saw a lot of big movies and small movies, number of movies released. But in the northern part, non-South India, they were all watching some tentpole movie comes. Like, for example, Suryavanshi was slated to release on 2nd of April. And then it was postponed to end of April, 26th or 27th of April. But from beginning of April, all the cinemas were shut down. And everybody was waiting that when Suryavanshi, Radhe, 83, they release. And all, like Reliance has very openly declared that they will not go to the OTT, they will only release it in the theaters like the Suryavanshi. So, primarily, older movies released. We saw, I think, Ashish, correct me if I'm wrong, I think almost 900 movies, older movies released during just these 4-5 months when the lockdown was not there.
Yeah, that is the 4 months.
So in the 4 months, like 900 movies released. So there is a huge pent-up demand. There is a huge lineup of content. Like as I told you, 300 plus movies had already declared their release dates or intention to release. More than 300 movies were there. We were sitting on it. And business was bouncing back. Then the second wave hit, unfortunately.
Okay, sir. I will come back in the question queue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barjatia. Before we take the next question, I would request participants to press star and 1 to ask a question. We have our next question from Urmil Shah from IDBI Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity. I hope the UFO team is safe. Firstly, I like to, congratulate on a commendable job of lowering the cash burn. First question was on the distribution business, which we have taken an initiative, in this tough times. From a 3 to 5 year point of view, what would be the plan as regards the movie distribution business, and what would be the capital deployment that we would be looking at in this business, given that the ROC in this business should be really very good.
Yeah. So thank you, Urmil, and pleasure talking to you after a long gap. And thanks for inquiring the well-being of the people. Fortunately, everybody in UFO is safe, and as far as my data goes, touchwood, with the grace of God, we have not lost a single employee across the company to COVID. All the people got affected, but we have not lost a single person. God has been very, very kind to UFO, I must say. On the distribution business, you see, distribution business was the lowest hanging fruit, and we had been thinking about getting into this business for a long time. So what was happening was, our business is dependent on the survival of cinemas, and we have a lot of multiplex screens, but we have a larger number of single screens and screens located in the smaller geographies. Whenever the movie is released, the distributors started demanding very unreasonable terms. For any cinema to survive and make money, they need at least 30 to 35 weeks of new content. Rest they can manage, the content overflow of good movies, bigger movies, So these guys, the smaller screens, were not getting that content because the terms which were dictated by the distributors were very unreasonable. They wanted huge advances, they wanted them to run the movie for a few weeks, etc., etc. So ultimately, these guys were, even if they got the movie, they were not able to make money. Our business is dependent on giving more movies to the cinema so that we will make more VPF, number one. More newer movies going into cinemas means more footfalls, which means we make greater advertising revenue. So, and secondly, we saw that as a trend, the corporate distributors were disappearing from the country. So there were hardly any corporate distributors left, and distribution became a very fragmented business. So our thought process was that we are the only company in the country today, including all distribution and cross distribution chain in the country. We are the only company in the country which has offices in every film circuit, number one. Number two, we are connected with every theater in the country. So we said, why not we become that corporate distributor? And the reason of the corporate distributors disappearing also was because they used to take very heavy punt on the content. They used to invest in the content. So we took the in principle decision that we will only do the fee-based business. Like you said, the ROC will be very high. We will not get into the advances or the business of investing in the content, because that can ruin the company. So in principle decision is no investment in the content, purely concentrated on the fee-based business. Third, there was a lot of demand for last many years that people said, whether the cinema movie works or not, you still charge your VPF from us, which was a fact, because we were willing to go into the charging VPF as a percentage of the box office collection, but we did not have any control over the box office collection. So we said that wherever we are distributing movies, we can also, because the box office will be under our control. So one, we can democratically give it to maximum number of theaters, which we did actually during this period. And every cinema was very, very happy because smaller cinemas also started getting the movies. We tried to give the maximum at the revenue share basis, no MGs, nothing. That was the cinema side. And on the producer side, we started charging VPF as a percentage of revenue. It took away their problem, because when they had to give a per show VPF, they tried to assess where the revenue will come, where the revenue will not come. So they used to restrict the number of screens where the movie releases. When we moved it to a percentage revenue model, then they were completely de-risked. Then they didn't bother and on how many theaters we are releasing the movie. So we started releasing every movie very, very wide. And we started charging them on as a percentage of the box office collection. Because more wider it goes, cinemas get the movie, more footfalls come, we benefit there, and we also producer benefits because he's never out of pocket on account of VPF, which was their major complaint. So all these and then we are a corporate distributor, and the trust factor of the entire film fraternity in UFO is very high. They all trust in the honest declaration of the revenue. So we got very good response. As I mentioned, that we released almost one movie every week during those 3 months of when the cinemas were open. And we did not hire any people. There is no investment in this business because we don't invest in the content. That's a principal decision. When the movie is ready, come to us. We'll distribute it. We'll take it wide. We'll take it to all circuits. Even Hindi movies we started distributing even in the southern markets. And southern movies we started like Master, for example. The Hindi dubbed version we distributed in the Hindi market, which normally Tamil movies don't come to the Hindi market except a Rajinikanth movie or one or two movies here and there. So we actually try to take the reach of the movie very, very wide without investing in the business, and created a win-win situation for us, for theaters, because they get the content, and for the producers. Wide release, more collection, and VPF at a percentage share. So obviously, it's all fee-based business. And lastly, we did not hire any people for that, because all our people, all our 24 offices all over the country, regional offices, they are in touch with all producers because for donkey's years, because producers had to release all movies, take the release order from them, give it to them, and distribute to them. Are connected, very well connected with the entire fraternity. So it was a plug and play for us. It became very easy for us, and we saw great success. And as I mentioned, we started small with smaller movies, but then bigger movies were actually negotiating with us when the second wave hit. So I think we are here to stay, and this will be a meaningful business for UFO.
Sure. Thanks, sir. Just, given that we want to focus only on the fee-based business, so would it be safe to assume that we would be looking at largely the theatrical distribution and a digital television kind of distribution? As such, you will need to invest in the content, and the fee-based model for now does not exist there?
I did not quite understand your question, because the way our model works is that when we are sitting with the producer of the movie, then as a so one stream is the theatrical stream, as you rightly pointed out. That is our main focus. Now, as a byproduct of that, what is happening is that we are able to, when you go to the OTT platform, post the theatrical run, the OTT platforms are sick of negotiating with individual producers. They want to talk to people who can provide them a substantial amount of content, multiple movies, a slate which can provide them. So we have also started talking to OTT platforms. When any producer which is able to sell directly, they sell directly. But otherwise, all producers don't have access to the OTT platform. So as a corporate theatrical distributor, we are also now have the plan to actually take the movies, create a slate, and then approach the OTT platforms where they buy the movie, and we again make the fee on the sale to the OTT platforms and the satellite platforms. So that we have already started discussion. Obviously, time was too short to theatrical business we established. That was the first port of call, and we are waiting to also start this. And we are already in touch with all the OTT platforms for the post-theatrical sale of movies, as well as with the satellite channels. So I think eventually that will also become another fee-based revenue for us.
Sure. Thank you, sir. So my last question is on the capital deployment. So on the new initiatives, what is the kind of capital outlay planned over the next 3-5 years? And, let's say on Nova Cinemas and other businesses which were small in the pre-COVID era, how are we looking at it in the current situation?
So all the new initiatives which I told you, which I mentioned about the social media platform, influencer marketing, that our existing team is doing. We have reskilled our advertising team, and advertising team is very excited because that's a huge potential. So the same advertising team which was selling to the in cinema advertising are also now going to be bundling this product as well as going to the newer clients, because we already had a base of 2,000 clients, 2,000 odd clients all over the country. So that is something, there is no investment in that. Other initiatives like Zinglin, Plexigo, that social media, the digital platform that we have created everything internally with very, very minimum investment. Most of the softwares have been developed internally because all people work there, and we are a technology company. So all work has been done internally with minimum investment. Coming to Nova, that business is completely halted. We are currently not making any investment in that, because right now our focus is cross the finish line, because there will be many businesses. And as you can see, our cash position, despite having been under the lockdown for almost earlier for 9 months and then again for 2 months now, 11, 12 months, having been locked down, we still carry healthy cash, and we have been able to manage by cutting cost and arranging cash and realizing our working capital. So our focus is on conserving cash, cross the finish line, reestablish the business, then investing in the new project. So Nova Cinema is completely on halt. I mean, in the ongoing projects, 5-10 lakh investment given here and there is a different thing, but no major investment is going into those projects.
Sure. So are we relooking Caravan in the current situation?
You see, Caravan, we don't have any further investment. So Caravan business, we already have 100 plus vans, 110, 112, 15 vans. And those vans are currently parked. We are now exploring opportunity for, we are even talking to governments that can we use these vans for vaccination. Because, country was shut. So there was no movement. That is where we could not utilize them. But there is no plan to relook at that business. I think that business has potential, and given the right circumstances, we are already in touch with various players and the retailers for deploying those vans once the lockdowns are lifted.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. Participants are requested to press star and 1 to ask a question. We have a question from Mr. Shiv Prasad. Please go ahead, sir.
Hello.
Hi, Shiv.
Thanks. Hi. Thanks a lot for all the initial briefing you have given. Of course, I'm following UFO since some time now. And of course, as told by somebody else, we, of course, congratulate you on reduction in the fixed cost and not actually cutting down on the manpower and all that. That's really a good gesture, I would say. Okay, my question is like, of course, what I understood from your initial brief was that the single screens and all, the single screen business, which might get affected by a few % here or there. And also I want to know is how about, okay, single screen is one business. So what about the multiplexes? That's number one. Then I also understand that it's not on the footfall, your revenue, what is generated, it is more on the per screen, per show. But what if we have blockbuster movies like 100 crores, 200 crores, 300 crores, 500 crores, etc.? Do you also get benefited out of it? Or do you have any margins which come to you as a share from such movies? And then in your initial brief, you were talking about the collective social media platform. Want to understand a bit more on that. Probably I was too slow in understanding what you wanted to highlight over there. And something on the star names you were taking. What is the correlation?
Okay. Good question. First of all, thank you very much for appreciating that we have not fired any employee, and all the workforce we have kept. We have senior people have taken huge cuts. and we actually made sure that the lower cadre, they work with minimum cuts. So the cuts in the case of lower cadre was as low as 10%, while at the highest level, me, Mr. Gaikwad, who is the managing director, even today we are not taking any salary. We are at a 100% cut because we can sustain ourselves, but our salaries can pay dozens of people. So, that is the kind of, and the senior management took almost 40, 50, 60% cuts voluntarily. So that was, I think, a very, very good gesture, and everybody is still there. Hardly anybody has thought of leaving the company. So that gives me a great feeling. Since you mentioned it, I said, although it was not your question, I thought it will give me a good feeling to actually mention it.
I read about it.
Yeah. So far as the single screens, multiplexes, when I said 400-500 screens, I was not distinguishing between single screens and multiplexes. I was actually saying in our internal estimate, 400-500 screens will shut down. That included even if the smaller multiplexes. And so there are larger chains like PVR, Inox, Cinepolis. Then there are mid-level chains who have 40, 50, 60 screens. And then there are very small multiplexes, which are individual standalone multiplexes, 3 screens, 1 or 2 locations. Some stress may be there in the lower screen. In the middle segment, I think there will be consolidation. The bigger chains might buy them out if they can't sustain themselves. Although general feeling which I am getting in my interaction with them, that nobody wants to sell out. Everybody is very confident about the future of cinema business, and everybody has cut down costs like us, and everybody is just keeping head above water. So only some screens will shut down. As I said, maybe 5% of the overall, 5-6% of the overall screen. So that also included that screen.
Okay.
What was your second question before you came to Collective?
Yeah, in this about the blockbuster movies.
Blockbuster movie, yeah. So in the blockbuster movies, our business model is a beautiful business model. So the way it works is that, as you rightly pointed out, Shiv, that we charge on a pay-per-show basis. And pay-per-show, we charge certain amount in the first week, a lower amount in the second week, and third week onwards, we don't charge. Now, by implication, you would think that if there is a blockbuster movie which is going for 6 or 8 weeks, I'm not making any revenue after 2 weeks. But our business model is a beautiful model, because we wish movies to go to third, fourth, fifth week, have the blockbusters, because when a movie is a blockbuster, we make more advertising revenue because they are greater. You see, a movie will become a blockbuster only when there are greater footfall. There are more people coming, the movie is going week after week. So what we do is that on such movies, although we don't charge a virtual print fee, but we make more money on the advertising revenue. So that is how there is a natural hedge in our business model. That while the BPF goes down, so first 2 weeks, if the movie doesn't work, they pay us a fixed per show price. The movie goes out. If the movie doesn't go out, that means it's a blockbuster movie. It's a movie doing very well. So it is basically, it gives us higher advertising revenue. So there is a natural hedge there. Coming to your third point of Collective. Collective is a talent management company who have approximately 270 stars, performers from music industry, from actors. Like I took all the names which you said, what is the correlation? So they are exclusive talent manager to these stars. So these stars have to do anything, whether they have to sign a film, whether they have to appear in a show, whether they have to do an endorsement, or whether they have to post something on their social media. So everything has to go through Collective. And Collective makes a commission on that. Every deal has to be done through them. Plus they have 5,000 plus influencers, which they collected during the pandemic over last 1.5 years, because social media influencer business is growing in the country, and I talked about the potential as well. So these people are a great company in talent management. They also sell, but we only sell advertising. So we have a team, Pan-India team of experts who have been selling advertising. As you know, I won't talk about 2019, our advertising revenue was close to 240 crores. So we are very well connected with 2,000 plus clients. So these guys have the talent, they have the influencers, and for all the social media marketing, the post-influencer marketing, we have signed an exclusive agreement with them where they were servicing certain clients. Those clients will remain with them. Rest, everything will go through us. And then we will be doing the social media marketing, which means we will go to the advertisers, and advertiser has to sell a product. They want a set of social media influencers to talk about their product. Suppose you are launching a health product. You want the influencers who are from the nutrition industry, the nutritionists, the bodybuilders, to talk about that product on their social media. So this is a growing business. This is a global business, influencer marketing. So we have signed an agreement with the Collective where we will be selling the social media of these celebrities as well as these 5,000 plus influencers. And, the awakening in our mind was that during the pandemic, when cinema business shut down and we came to the ground completely, we said we should also ring fence ourselves and get into the digital business, the social media and the digital business. So that is where all these initiatives we took. So this is the kind of agreement, and every time you sell something, you make money on that. And again, it's a pure fee-based business. We are not investing anything in it. We don't have any fixed costs because our existing people are going to do it. And tomorrow, if this business grows big and we have to hire more people, most welcome. I hope I have addressed all your questions.
Absolutely, I've addressed my questions very well. And thank you once again. Should I have more questions, I'll come back.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. Before we take the next question, I would request participants to press star and 1. We have a question from Mr. Vaibhav Bajjatia from HNI Investment. Please go ahead.
Hi sir, my questions have been answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
ज्या
Vaibhav.
व्यक्तीशी
Thank you for
बोलत
coming back
आहात
anyways.
त्याने तुमच्या कॉलला
Hello.
Participants can press star and 1 to ask a question. We have a question from Sharad Singh from Singh and Company. Please go ahead.
Well, just some clarification on the Collective business. So here essentially you will be sourcing the AdWords for the Collective clients, and how will we earn through these AdWords? I mean, will we be selling these AdWords and making a cut in the middle, or how does it work?
No. The way it works is, it's a very transparent business. So every time any advertisement is sold, so as per the agreement between Collective and the social media influencer, so whatever is the revenue, they get a percentage. And that percentage is going to be shared with us. Although we also have the opportunity to top up that pricing, and we can, as per agreement, we can charge more. But it's a very competitive business. So ultimately, we'll be making a commission on every advertisement.
Okay. And these advertisements will be sold to the various social media platforms and the television channels, I suppose?
No. These are the advertisers. So any product company, any service company, anything, like we sell the advertisement for in cinema, whether, I mean, for any consumable product, consumer goods, any, clothing products. So like the advertisement that you see in the cinemas today, as I said, you want to launch a pet brand, you want to launch a clothing brand, you want to launch a nutrition product, health product. So any product, I mean, whether it's a bakery, all kinds of advertisers, whether it's a Unilever, whether it is a Coke, Pepsi, anything. So the advertisers actually who advertise in the cinemas, who advertise on TV, who advertise on social media, who advertise on digital, those are the advertisers who will be our clients. We'll be selling it to them. And as I said, that we already have touch points with over 2,000 clients within UFO itself, who we have been selling the in-cinema advertising anyways.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. We have our next question from Mr. Manish Manchanda. Please go ahead, sir.
हेलो कपिल जी, नमस्कार।
नमस्कार नमस्कार मनीष जी, कैसे हैं आप?
सर बहुत बढ़िया। सर एक तो हम आपको बधाई देना चाहते हैं कि आपने इस क्राइसिस के टाइम पे बहुत अच्छे से कंपनी को मैनेज कर रहे हैं और किसी की भी नौकरी नहीं गई, ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है सर।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मनीष जी।
सर मेरे कुछ सवाल हैं, मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि जो हमारा बिजनेस मॉडल है, जितना मैं समझ पाया हूँ उसके अंदर हम लोगों ने पहले, जैसा कि आपके इंटरव्यूज में भी आपने कहा है कि हमने 200-300 करोड़ की इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रखी है इक्विपमेंट्स के ऊपर और हमने सारी स्क्रीन के ऊपर अपने इक्विपमेंट्स लगा रखे हैं, उसके अगेंस्ट हम वीपीएफ जो है उनसे चार्ज करते हैं
जी।
तो ऐसा कहीं है कि जो नेशनल चेन है पीवीआर, कार्निवल, आइनॉक्स, इन लोगों ने शायद हमारे इक्विपमेंट यूज़ करना बंद कर दिया है या ये अपने इक्विपमेंट्स लगा रहे हैं? एक क्वेश्चन तो सर ये है मेरा। दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो अभी पेंडेमिक चल रहा है, मेट्रो सिटीज़ के अंदर तो इतनी जागरूकता है कि वैक्सीन लगवाई जाए और जिसके लिए हम सबको उम्मीद है कि हम सब लोग 6 महीने में या 4 महीने में बैक टू नॉर्मल आने की कोशिश करेंगे, जैसा कि और कंट्रीज़ में भी हो रहा है। मगर गांव में जहाँ पे सिंगल स्क्रीन हैं, और मैं समझता हूँ यूएफओ का काफ़ी अच्छा पेनिट्रेशन है गांव के अंदर और छोटे शहरों में टीयर 3 सिटीज़ के अंदर जहाँ सिंगल स्क्रीन है, जहाँ पीवीआर वगैरह नहीं है, मेरठ, मुजफ्फरनगर, बरेली, इस तरीके की जगहों पर, तो वहाँ पर जो मल्टीप्लेक्सेस नहीं हैं और छोटी स्क्रीन्स हैं, एक तो वो इस टाइम किस तरीके से ऑपरेट कर रही हैं, इसके बारे में कुछ आप लोगों को जानकारी है? और अगर ये क्राइसिस लंबा चल जाता है, क्योंकि हमारे देश की पॉपुलेशन बहुत ज़्यादा है और अभी तक ये सिर्फ एक आंकड़े हैं कि हम सबको लगा देंगे नवंबर दिसंबर तक, अगर ये 1 साल और खिंच जाता है तो कहीं हमारे सर्वाइवल पे तो कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं उठेगा, हमारा कैश किस हिसाब से है हमारी बुक्स के अंदर? अभी 2-4 महीने की तो बात ठीक है, समझ में आता है, बट अगर ये क्राइसिस लंबा चल गया 1 साल, तो हमारा कोई बैकअप प्लान है? कहीं सर्वाइवल पे तो हमारा क्वेश्चन नहीं है सर। ये 2 सवाल।
चलिए, तो अब आप जरा पहला सवाल दोबारा रिपीट कर दें, आपने इतना लंबा सवाल कर दिए। पहले तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जो आपने कॉम्प्लीमेंट किया। एंड वी आर अ कंपनी विद अ हार्ट, तो वी ऑलवेज टेक केयर ऑफ अवर पीपल एंड आई एम वेरी प्राउड कि जो लोग जिन लोगों ने हमें 2005, 6, 7 में ज्वाइन किया था वो आज भी हमारे साथ हैं। 15 साल से लोग हमारे साथ हैं, बिकॉज वी आर अ कंपनी विद अ हार्ट, तो वी टेक केयर ऑफ द पीपल। नाउ सो फार एज योर फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज कंसर्न्ड, पहला तो मैं आपको बता दूं 200-300 करोड़ नहीं, आई थिंक हमने कुछ 600-700 करोड़, 700-800 करोड़ की इन्वेस्टमेंट हमने करी इक्विपमेंट के अंदर शुरू से।
ओके सर।
इक्विपमेंट में इन्वेस्टमेंट करके क्या होता है कि जब हम इन्वेस्टमेंट कर देते हैं इक्विपमेंट के अंदर, तो इक्विपमेंट हमारा थिएटर के अंदर लगा रहता है और उसको मेंटेन भी हम ही करते हैं। देखिए, इक्विपमेंट खरीदना एक बात है, कोई भी आदमी इक्विपमेंट खरीद के रख सकता है, इक्विपमेंट वन टाइम कॉस्ट है, परंतु इलेक्ट्रॉनिक की तरह इसको मेंटेन करना, ईयर ऑन ईयर मेंटेन करना, डे बाई मेंटेन करना, सिनेमा बिजनेस इज ए मिशन क्रिटिकल बिजनेस। आपका शो चल रहा है, अगर इक्विपमेंट बंद पड़ गया तो लोग थिएटर तोड़ देंगे, अगर शो के बीच में हो गया तो। या एक इक्विपमेंट उन्होंने खरीदा और उसको 4 दिन के लिए शो बंद करके और रिपेयर के लिए भेजना पड़ गया, तो उनके 4 दिन का रेवेन्यू मर गया। तो इसलिए हम इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं, हमारे पास 500-600 इंजीनियर्स हैं ऑल ओवर इंडिया, वो सब हम मेंटेन करते हैं। हम इन्वेंट्री की पूरे इंडिया के अंदर रखते हैं वेरियस टाइप ऑफ इक्विपमेंट की, ताकि जैसे ही कुछ गड़बड़ हो हम जाके इक्विपमेंट चेंज कर देते हैं, रिपेयर कर देते हैं हमारे यहाँ। तो पहले तो ये बड़ा बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है। अब उसके ड्यू में हमारे को 3 रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम मिलती है, एक नहीं मिलती। वीपीएफ इज 1 रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम। जब मैंने इक्विपमेंट थिएटर में लगाया है तो पहले तो हम थिएटर से किराया लेते हैं इक्विपमेंट का, तो एक तो हमारे को रेंट मिलता है, लीज रेंट मिलता है इक्विपमेंट का। सेकेंडली हम वर्चुअल प्रिंट फी वीपीएफ लेते हैं प्रोड्यूसर से, क्योंकि अब प्रोड्यूसर को रील में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना और वो उसको वर्चुअली उसकी फिल्म पहुंच जाती है, तो हम उससे पर शो चार्ज कर लेते हैं या फिक्स चार्ज कर लेते हैं। डिफरेंट मॉडल्स हैं डिफरेंट मार्केट्स के अंदर। थर्ड, इन ल्यू ऑफ दिस, क्योंकि हमने इक्विपमेंट दिया है, हम उसको मेंटेन कर रहे हैं, हम सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, और थिएटर एडवर्टाइजमेंट अपना लोकल थिएटर नहीं बेच सकते, तो हमने 3,737 थिएटर्स की इन्वेंट्री को हमने एग्रीगेट कर लिया है, और वो एग्रीगेट करके हम उसको नेशनली बेचते हैं और उसको रेवेन्यू शेयर हम उनको देते हैं। तो इसी इक्विपमेंट की वजह से जो हमारा वहां पे डिप्लॉयड है, उसी इक्विपमेंट की वजह से हमें ये 3rd रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम मिलती है। दीज आर दी 3 मेजर रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम्स फॉर अस। नाउ सो फार एज द पीवीआर, आइनॉक्स, सिनेपोलिस आर कंसर्न, आपको बता दूं कि पीवीआर के कम से कम 400 स्क्रीन के अंदर सारी इन्वेस्टमेंट हमने करी थी, पर वहां हमें एडवर्टाइजमेंट राइट नहीं मिलते। हमारा जो मेजर बिजनेस है वो बिजनेस है बियॉन्ड द नेशनल चेन, परंतु नेशनल चेन्स के साथ भी हमारे काफ़ी एग्रीमेंट्स हैं और उनसे भी हम डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स के अंदर रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम कमाते हैं, इंक्लूडिंग जहाँ जहाँ हमारे इक्विपमेंट डिप्लॉयड हैं। जैसे आपने कार्निवल का नाम लिया, शायद 60-70% इक्विपमेंट कार्निवल के आर ओन्ड बाय अस। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि इन चेन्स के अंदर हमारे इक्विपमेंट नहीं जा रहे। थर्ड क्वेश्चन आपका है गांव का। पहली चीज तो मैं आपको ये बता दूं कि किसी गांव में, इंडिया के गांव में सिनेमा है ही नहीं, सारे सिनेमा शहरों में है। कोई गांव इंडिया का ऐसा नहीं है। और आपने जो सर नाम लिए, आप, मुझे लगता है आप यूपी के हैं, जो आपने मुजफ्फरनगर, बरेली, इन जगहों के नाम लिए, तो मुझे लगता है आप भी यूपी के वाले हैं, क्योंकि ये तो सब बड़े बड़े शहर हैं। ये तो हम ये कोई छोटी जगहें थोड़ी हैं। तो जागरूकता गांव में है नहीं है। अब देखिए, जो देश के अंदर होगा उससे तो हर बिजनेस अफेक्ट होगा, परंतु आज सरकार भी कोशिश कर रही है कि अगले इस साल के एंड तक मैक्सिमम वैक्सीनेशन हो जाए। सरकार ने ऑलरेडी कहा है कि 200-225 करोड़ डोजेज बाई बिटवीन जुलाई एंड दिसंबर इंडिया में अवेलेबल होंगी। तो ऑब्वियसली वैक्सीनेशन तो होंगे, परंतु सिनेमा बिजनेस इज मेनली सिटी सेंट्रिक बिजनेस, नॉट विलेज सेंट्रिक बिजनेस। विलेज के लिए हम दूसरी चीज चलाते हैं, जैसे कैरावान सिनेमा। दैट इज वाई वी रन कैरावान सिनेमा, जहाँ हम ले जाके वो दिखाते हैं। थर्ड लास्ट क्वेश्चन अबाउट द कैश फ्लो। कैश फ्लो हमने देखिए 14 महीने से बंद पड़े हैं, और जो बीच में 3-4 महीने के लिए खुला उसमें भी मिनिमम रेवेन्यू था, क्योंकि फिल्में बड़ी ज्यादा रिलीज नहीं हुई। डिस्पाइट दैट we have survived 14 months with all the people and we have enough cash going forward। मैं ये तो नहीं कहूँगा जी अगर 2 साल के लिए बंद हो जाएंगे तो पता नहीं देश का क्या होगा और बाकी कंपनियों का क्या होगा, परंतु फॉर अ रीजनेबल पीरियड, ये सेकंड वेव आती है, थर्ड वेव आती है, फॉर अ रीजनेबल पीरियड वी हैव सफिशिएंट कैश अवेलेबल, और अगर जरूरत पड़ेगी तो और खर्चा काटेंगे इस लेवल से। सर्वाइव सर, अगर हम सर्वाइव नहीं करेंगे तो इस बिजनेस में कौन सर्वाइव करेगा? आज हमने हाँ, तो सर्वाइव कर ही रहे हैं और अच्छी तरीके से सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं। मैनेजमेंट इज वेरी प्रोएक्टिव। हमारा मैनेजमेंट पूरा बड़ा प्रोएक्टिव है और हमारे लोग बड़े सपोर्टिव है सब। तो हर तरीके से खर्चे कम करके, इनकम करके, पैसा रेज करके, हर तरीके से हम पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और अभी भी मैंने कैश फ्लो पोजीशन बताई कि 80 करोड़ रुपए 31 मार्च को हमारे पास था। 22 करोड़ का भी हमारा लोन सैंक्शन हो गया है एक्सपोर्ट क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम के अंदर सरकार की। तो वो करके वी हैव इनफ कैश फ्लो फॉर गोइंग फॉरवर्ड एंड वी आर मैनेजिंग इट वेरी एफिशिएंट।
जी सर, आपने अभी बताया कि जो नेशनल चेन्स हैं उनके साथ आपके और भी बिजनेस मॉडल हैं जिसके थ्रू आपकी रेवेन्यू आता है। सर थोड़ा सा वो बताएंगे कि वो कौन से, किस तरीके से नेशनल चेन से हम रेवेन्यू कमा पाते हैं?
देखिए, नेशनल चेन को जो बिजनेस है हमारा वो इस तरीके से है, जैसे पीवीआर के साथ तो हमने खुद, जहाँ तक मुझे याद है, इफ आई एम नॉट गोइंग रॉन्ग, कम से कम हमने 80 से 100 करोड़ रुपए की इन्वेस्टमेंट करी थी खाली इक्विपमेंट के अंदर पीवीआर के, जिसके ड्यू में हमने वीपीएफ भी कमाई, हमने रेंटल भी कमाया, सब कुछ कमाया। सेकेंडली हम उनको, जैसे आईनॉक्स है और उनको हम इन चेन्स को बीपीएफ कलेक्शन सर्विस प्रोवाइड करते हैं, कंटेंट प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विस प्रोवाइड करते हैं, जिसके लिए हम उनसे एक चार्ज लेते हैं। सबसे बीपीएफ कलेक्शन के ऊपर हम एक परसेंटेज ऑफ बीपीएफ लेते हैं। तो इस तरीके से हर जगह पे हमारी कोशिश ये है कि हम हर सेगमेंट में जिसको, जहां, जिस सिनेमा को, जिस चेन को जिस चीज की जरूरत है, हम अपने को इतना फ्लेक्सिबल रखते हैं कि हमें ये है कि भाई उसको भी सुविधा मिल जाए, सर्विस मिल जाए, और हमारा भी कुछ उसके अंदर पैसा बन जाए। हर डील में हमें पैसा कमाना है। इसीलिए ईश्वर की कृपा से हमारी कंपनी कैश फ्लो वाइज हेल्दी रही है, क्योंकि हमने पूरी कोशिश करी है कि हर सेगमेंट में उसकी नीड के हिसाब से जो उसको जरूरत है वो हम सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, और उससे कुछ ना कुछ पैसा कमाएंगे अपने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एग्जिस्टिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को लेवरेज करके विदाउट स्पेंडिंग एक्स्ट्रा मनी।
जी सर, मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन ये था कि एक क्यूब सिनेमा के साथ हमारा मर्जर होने वाला था, जो पहले डिनायल पे चला गया था, उसके बाद फिर हमने आगे अपील करी और हमको परमिशन मिल गई थी, बट उसके बाद वो दोबारा डिनायल हो गया। अगर वो मर्जर हो जाता तो मैं समझता हूँ एक मोनोपोलिस्टिक सिचुएशन हमारी क्रिएट हो जाती पैन इंडिया। तो उसके ऊपर कंपनी अभी कुछ सोच रही है या वो डील बिल्कुल ही खत्म हो गई?
पहली चीज तो पहले मर्जर डिनाई हुआ था, फिर हम वो केस एनक्लेट में जीत गए थे, परंतु उसके बाद में वी डिसाइडेड नॉट टू परस्यू दैट मर्जर। अब साहब मोनोपोली क्रिएट होती नहीं होती, वो क्या होता है, इट्स ए वेरी हाइपोथेटिकल क्वेश्चन। मैं इसका क्या जवाब दूं आपको। अभी ऐसा कोई विचार नहीं है कि दोनों कंपनियों के मर्जर का, क्योंकि उस वक्त स्टॉक प्राइस कुछ और था हमारा, आज हमारा स्टॉक प्राइस कुछ और है। तो वो सब स्टॉक प्राइस से रिलेटेड मर्जर के डिस्कशन थे। अब अगर आप सब लोगों की सहायता से, अगर आपको कॉन्फिडेंस रहा हमारे बिजनेस के अंदर, सब इन्वेस्टर्स को, अगर स्टॉक प्राइस ठीक हुआ तो कल फिर सोचेंगे इसके बारे में। परंतु आज टुडे इट इज ए वेरी हाइपोथेटिकल एंड टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन विच आई डोंट हैव एनी आंसर टू।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका, आपने बहुत अच्छे से मेरे सवालों का जवाब दिया सर।
बिल्कुल साहब, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप ही की वजह से हम लोग हैं यहाँ पे मनीष जी, और आप सब लोगों के लिए ये है। अगर हमारे शेयर होल्डर्स हमें सपोर्ट करें तो भगवान ने चाहा तो सब बिजनेस ठीक होगा, स्टॉक प्राइस भी ठीक होगा।
सर जरूर सर, जरूर। थैंक यू,
धन्यवाद।
Thank you. We have our next question from Mr. Manan Patel. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, Manan ji.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, sir, and many congratulations for keeping all the employees in this difficult phase. So, sir, my question is slightly on a longer term basis. So if I see the financial performance ever since your IPO, the revenues have been sort of flatlining, or आपका operating profits are also sort of declining. So I understand that media entire industry has been going through a disruptive phase. So I wanted to understand your perspective on this industry over next 5 years, and in shorter term, like how long can it take us to get back to 500 to 600 crore revenue range? And in the longer run of 5 years, how do you see UFO movies panning out?
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो आईपीओ के वक्त से, डिस्पाइट ऑल आवर एफर्ट्स, देयर हैव बीन अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सटर्नल इवेंट्स which have affected the cinema business, advertising business. For example, देखिए डीमोनेटाइजेशन हो गया, डीमोनेटाइजेशन के बाद एकदम से बिजनेस हमारा, एडवर्टाइजिंग का बिजनेस हमारा गिर गया। फिर जीएसटी इम्प्लीमेंट हो गया विच अफेक्टेड फॉर नेक्स्ट कपल ऑफ ईयर्स। फिर अब ये पेंडेमिक हो गया। तो कुछ ना कुछ एक्सटर्नल मैक्रो इवेंट्स ऐसी होती रही हैं जो कहीं ना कहीं हमारे को अफेक्ट करती रही हैं, ऑल्दो दी प्लान्स वर वेरी डिफरेंट। दैट इज नंबर 1। नंबर 2, जैसा मैंने ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स में भी कहा, जहां जहां सिनेमा, आज मुझे कोई डाउट नहीं है कि अगले 5 साल में सिनेमा इंडस्ट्री का फ्यूचर बहुत ब्राइट है। जब से टीवी आया, लोगों ने कहा जी सिनेमा इंडस्ट्री बंद हो जाएगी, ओटीटी आया, सिनेमा इंडस्ट्री बंद हो जाएगी, डीवीडी प्लेयर आए, सिनेमा इंडस्ट्री बंद हो जाएगी। परंतु सिनेमा इंडस्ट्री वर्ल्ड वाइड ग्रो कर रही है। आज मैंने अपनी ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स में भी एग्जाम्पल दिया कि जहां जहां सिनेमा खुले हैं, देखिए एक पिक्चर रिलीज हुई इंग्लैंड के अंदर, सिनेमा खुले, $10 मिलियन का वीकेंड है, 7 मिलियन पाउंड एक सिनेमा के अंदर। एक पिक्चर के ऊपर चाइना में भी $835 मिलियन का रेवेन्यू हुआ है। तो जहां जहां सिनेमा खुल रहे हैं, आज जो लोग घर में बैठ के बंद हैं, everybody wants to go out. I also want to go out. I also want to socialize. We are all social animals. So there is absolutely no doubt in the future of the industry. थर्ड, एक पॉइंट मैं यहाँ पे एड्रेस करना चाहता हूँ जो अभी तक किसी ने पूछा नहीं है, और हर उसका एक ओवरहैंग हमारे ऊपर हमेशा रहता है। मैं पिछले 10 साल से सुन रहा हूँ, कितने एनालिस्ट आए हैं, कितने एनालिसिस लिखे गए हैं हमारी कंपनी के बारे में कि इस कंपनी का बीपीएफ बंद हो जाएगा, जो एक 125-150 करोड़ रुपए का रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम है। मैं उन सब एनालिस्ट से खाली एक ही सवाल पूछता हूँ हमेशा, जिसका कोई जवाब नहीं दे पाता, कि भाई मैंने एक एयरपोर्ट के बाहर में एक गाड़ी लेके खड़ा हुआ हूँ, एक पैसेंजर आता है, उस पैसेंजर को मेरी गाड़ी में बैठ के ओबराय होटल तक जाना है, नारीमन पॉइंट जाना है, नारीमन पॉइंट में होटल को क्लाइंट को बुलाना है, तो या तो नारीमन होटल पैसे देगा उस क्लाइंट को लाने के लिए, या पैसेंजर को अगर वहां जाना है अपनी कॉस्ट पे तो वो किराया देगा गाड़ी का। गाड़ी मेरी है, गाड़ी मैंने खरीदी है, पेट्रोल मेरा है, ड्राइवर मेरा है, मेंटेनेंस मेरी है, इंस्टॉलमेंट में देता हूँ उसकी। कोई मेरे हाथ से चाबी छीन के तो मेरी गाड़ी लेके नहीं जा सकता ना। Now this is being predicted for last 10 years कि भैया डीटीएफ बंद हो जाएगी तो ये कंपनी बंद हो जाएगी। तो ये मुझे नहीं आज तक समझ में आया कि किस बेसिस के ऊपर बड़े बड़े एनालिस्ट, बड़े धुरंधर एनालिस्ट इस इंडस्ट्री के और फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज के ये प्रेडिक्ट करते हैं। तो मेरे हिसाब से existing business is solid business. We are in infrastructure business. Infrastructure belongs to us. We have invested 600, 700, 800 crore rupees in the equipment. We have the ability to maintain the equipment. Individual theaters cannot maintain the equipment. They cannot replace the equipment. We have the financial ability to replace the equipment. They cannot, because of the equipment, they earn advertising revenue, which we monetize for them, because we collect advertisement revenue of 3,000, 4,000 theaters, which we sell. कौन कोक पेप्सी जाके एक छोटे शहर के थिएटर में एक थिएटर से एग्रीमेंट करेगा और उसको एडवर्टाइजमेंट देगा, मुझे बताइए। तो ये सब पूरा हमने जिस तरीके से बिजनेस प्लान अपना क्रिएट करा है, ये बड़ा इंजीनियरिंग बिजनेस प्लान है। इस बिजनेस प्लान को कोई खतरा नहीं है, ये चलेगा। और साथ में जो हमने नए बिजनेस चालू करे हैं, जैसे हमने फी बेस्ड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन बिजनेस चालू करा है, दैट शुड गिव अस वेरी स्टडी रेवेन्यू एंड द बॉटम लाइन इवेंचुअली। जैसे हमने कलेक्टिव एग्रीमेंट किया है सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग का, दिस शुड इवेंचुअली establish. All new business take time, although distribution has got established very quickly, but every business takes time. धीरे धीरे करके सब बिजनेस होंगे। लास्ट सवाल आपका कि साहब कब तक ये 600 करोड़ के रेवेन्यू पे वापस जाएंगे, ये तो मैं आई डोंट थिंक आई हैव एनी अथॉरिटी टू प्रेडिक्ट फ्यूचर, बट ऑल आई कैन से साहब जहां जहां सिनेमा खुल रहे हैं, जैसा मैंने कहा, लोग आ रहे हैं वापस, पिक्चरें बड़ी बड़ी रिलीज हो रही हैं, बिजनेस इज कमिंग बैक। दिस ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन द पैंडेमिक सिचुएशन। अभी कोई ये सेकेंड वेव ओवर हुई, 2-3 महीने में सिनेमा जैसे ही खुलेंगे, आई एम श्योर 300 पिक्चरें 400 पिक्चरें लाइंड अप हैं रिलीज होने के लिए, सिनेमा बिजनेस विल कम बैक। नाउ देन इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम वेदर इट गोज इन। तो 5-year लेवल solid business plan in our view. We are very confident, and with new businesses, revenue should restore and go up. फिलहाल कितने दिन में आएगा ये मेरे लिए जरा कहना बड़ा मुश्किल है साहब, ये तो पेंडेमिक ही बताएगा। जैसे हम ऑलरेडी मार्च में वी वर वेरी हैप्पी बिकॉज बिजनेस वाज कमिंग बैक वेरी स्पीडीली, एंड अप्रैल में एकदम से सिचुएशन चेंज हो गई। दैट इज मोर ए मैक्रो क्वेश्चन, so we will wait and watch.
Understood, sir. So that's very helpful. So I completely understand कि pandemic पे depend करेगा. So that's why I was like 5 years में आपका perspective क्या है, and thank you for the detailed answer. And sir, my last question is and my last question is regarding you said that आपने जो 600-700 crores का investment किया है in this machine. So I wanted to understand कि आपका what is the maintenance cost per annum of the entire infrastructure that you have set up, as in to maintain that entire infrastructure, including some replacements and all that. So उसका annual what would be the cost?
देखिए, दो कंपोनेंट हैं. वन इज द ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट. ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ इंजीनियर्स, कॉस्ट ऑफ स्पेयर्स एटसेट्रा, which is part of our balance sheet, which you can look at it. Second is the replacement. Now the investment cycle is over many years back, and if you would study our balance sheet, our capex has been very steady in last 3 to 4 years at 40-50 crores. वो हमारी इन ए स्टेडी स्टेट, जब सिनेमा सारे चल रहे हैं, सब कुछ हो रहा है, तब हमारी 40 से 50 करोड़ रुपए का एनुअल कैपेक्स आता है, और 150 से 250 करोड़ के हम एबिटा कमाते हैं हर साल. वो आपने देखा ही, आप पुरानी बैलेंस शीट देख लीजिए. वो एबिटा आती है सारे खर्चे मीट करने के बाद, इंक्लूडिंग मेंटेनेंस, और 40-50 करोड़ रुपए का हमारा एनुअल कैपेक्स होता है इन स्टेडी स्टेट. दिस ईयर ऑफ कोर्स देयर वाज हार्डली एनी कैपेक्स बिकॉज सिनेमास वर नॉट ऑपरेटिंग. So this is basically, these are the two cost elements.
Understood, sir. Thanks a lot, sir, and thank you for very detailed answer, and all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. I now hand over the call to Mr. Yogesh Kirve for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, hi. So we would like to thank the management of UFO Movies for giving us the opportunity to host this call. And we would like to thank all the other participants for taking out time for the call. We wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your conference for today. We thank you for your participation and for using iJunction conference service. You may please disconnect your lines now. Thank you and have a great day.